And finally tonight, the sound and the spirit of gospel in an unlikely arena. It was a mix of spiritual and spectacle. Church revival and American Idol style competition.
Y'all did a phenomenal job.
14 choirs from churches around the nation recently competed in the third annual How Sweet the Sound finale, a celebration of gospel music started by Verizon and held at the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C., a venue usually hosting major sports and pop music events, but on this night filled with close to 11,000 gospel fans.
5, 6, 7. Gospel is what?
Outside the main hall, a youth choir displayed its talents as people arrived. And concertgoers, young and old, took part in some gospel karaoke. On stage, a wide array of modern gospel styles, from the traditionally gowned New Sunny Mount Missionary Baptist Church in St. Louis to the masked and highly choreographed Burning Bush International Ministries Mass Choir from Detroit.
He is mine, and I am his.
All of it, according to gospel recording star Marvin Sapp, aimed at one thing.
It's the good news of Jesus Christ. It's a message that encourages and uplifts people and gives them strength to be able to move forward past life circumstances. It's a positive message in difficult times.
But on this night, Sapp was serving as a judge. So if the message was the same for each choir, how would he choose who's delivering it best?
You're looking for tone. You're looking for individuals to make sure that they're succinct, because they're choir. You can't have one person standing out. It's not a solo act. So you want to make sure that they're succinct, that their tone quality is great. If they're doing choreography, you want to make sure that their choreography is tight.
Gospel music has its roots in the Negro spirituals and call-and-response tradition of the slave-era South. Its modern era dates to the 1930s in Chicago and Detroit, with figures such as Thomas Dorsey, known as the father of gospel, and later Mahalia Jackson, who sold millions of records and achieved international fame. Today, gospel is a multi-billion-dollar business, with stars such as Yolanda Adams and Kirk Franklin, who maintains the religious words and themes even as he incorporates contemporary styles like hip-hop into his music. Indeed, another of today's leading lights, CeCe Winans, who served as a host of the How Sweet the Sound competition, says that many pop stars got their starts just as she did, in the church choir.
Most genres got their start and really their beginning from gospel music. So you hear the gospel roots and the flavors. You pick some of the greatest R&B celebrities, and the first thing they'll tell you is we started in the gospel choir. You even go to some of the rock stars. Well, I love gospel music, so a lot of that flavor comes from gospel music. We have gospel artists in hip-hop. We have gospel artists in, you name it.
How Sweet the Sound, though, was not about stars, but amateurs who come together at night after work to rehearse and then sing at Sunday services. One such group was the Greater Mount Calvary Men of Valor of Washington, D.C., whom we visited several days before the competition as they worked to polish the hymn Available to You.
That's a difference. So that's what you have to bring at the very beginning, okay? Rehearsed singing, not congregational.
Elder Cornelius Young, a classically trained choral leader and the minister of music at the church, put this group together just a year ago.
My job, my responsibility is to, first of all, to teach the dynamics and to teach the technical side. That's one part of my responsibility. The other part is to make sure that you understand the words that you're singing, because when all the chips fall, when you're actually up and you're actually ministering the gospel, sometimes you don't remember all of the technique, but you're connected to the song in a way that if you're emotionally connected to it, the sound is gonna just come out automatically.
The Men of Valor Choir, in fact, was the only all-male group in the competition, more than 50 strong with a wide range of experience and age. 19-year-old Leon Jones, a freshman at American University, is the youngest.
Well, gospel is discipline. Being a great singer, being even in a church congregation is discipline. The Bible says, that our spirit can be controlled by us. So, church, being in the gospel choir, anything, discipline is a must.
The oldest in the choir at 90 is Haldine Leon Boyce, who grew up in Barbados.
I was brought up very poor. My father was a coachman, and my mother had to dig potatoes. We had to carry on our heads. So I was taught to look to the Lord for my rewards.
On the night of the competition, the men helped each other secure their bow ties and button up their confidence. They then joined the other choirs waiting to perform in what built into a spontaneous moment of praise. For Marvin Sapp, the Men of Valor are a role model.
More people need to see that in the urban community so that they can see, even though we, as African-American males, we get a bad rap, the only time they really see us on television or in the newspaper is when there's something negative. My hope and prayer is that, the news, whoever it is, can come and see the positive male role models that are going to be sharing tonight.
In the end, the Men of Valor won the hearts of the hometown audience and won the People's Choice Award and a check for $5,000.
The Lord is here.
The award for Best Church Choir in America and the grand prize of $25,000 went to the Voices of Destiny Choir of Greater Zion Church Family in Compton, California.
You put time into your music department because your music department and every church music department is very important because it breaks up the ground for the word.
The evening closed with all the choirs and this night's congregation raising their voices together.
Let me hear